Hey everybody, it's Morry from the Morry Method, and I'm here today to answer all of your questions, comments, and concerns with respect to my systems and my general way of doing things. So I'm doing these calls on YouTube now every week, well, actually every month. And the reason why I'm doing it like that is because I felt it would be nicer to have more of a personal touch. Also, the previous systems we were using in the past just weren't working out so well. I was getting disconnected all the time. Also, this is so much easier for people. It automatically saves the recording. So if you couldn't be here originally, you can always come back. If it's really late where you are, you can always come back. If it's really late where you are, you can always go to sleep and check later. Remember that you can type in your questions, comments, or concerns, and I'm here to help you in any way that I can. Hey, Jim, nice to see you. Nice to see you for sure. Yeah, feel free to say hello, ask any kind. Jim, nice to see you. Nice to see you for sure. Yeah, feel free to say hello, ask any kind of questions at all. If I do not get questions to start with, I'm more than happy to give some general information that can maybe help people to use the products a little better than perhaps they would have in the past. So, because we are actually doing now, I had a little bit of a problem. I see it's kind of freezing on my end here. Hopefully, it's not freezing for you too. At any rate, I had a bit of a technical difficulty and I have to be streaming this from my phone. So I'm hoping that it works out okay. I'm just going to refresh the screen here. Okay, it looks like it is working, and it was just on my end that it was having a problem. So basically, the whole point of these calls is for me to be here for you. That being said, I'm a pretty talkative guy, and I'm sure I can figure out something to say in the meantime. So right now, I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but we're doing a promotion for the Effortless Success System. And I wanted to explain a little bit about that while I'm waiting for questions to come in. And please keep in mind that I have no problem keeping my train of thought. So if you have any desire to ask questions at any time, feel free. You don't have to wait for me to stop talking. You may be waiting a while if you do. So here's basically the thing with the effortless prosperity, or not effortless prosperity, but effortless success. This is a very large triliminal system. It takes me about 2 weeks to make a pair of triliminals. And we have 70 different topics that we're dealing with in this particular system. And one of the reasons why we decided to offer such a gigantic system, because I'm sure you all can realize there's no way anyone's going to listen to 70 in one day. As a matter of fact, I haven't done the math, but I'm pretty sure there isn't enough time in the day to actually get there. Okay. Actually, Jim, it's 70 topics, 140 recordings. So it's pretty scary. The quantity, it can get overwhelming. And for many people, it is. And that's why I make myself available. By the way, I am fully available. You can leave me a message here. You can go to my website, themorrymethod.com. You can call me at 1-416-876-7939. I'll be happy to call you back if it turns out that it's long distance for you. Yeah, it could be shocking, no question. The reason why, however, that we give you all these recordings is very simple. You see, and I do understand that this can be a rather pricey program, which is one of the reasons why we offer the payment program for it, or the payment system for it. The idea here is that you really don't have to, and I'm a lousy businessman, you're going to understand why in a second, but it really doesn't matter how many issues you may have today or in the future, because there is a special process that you use when you have this success system to actually create your own system. You see, I've been saying for years that you're your own guru, and the only person that can actually know about you and have the real solutions for you is the person who looks at you in the mirror in the morning. And that's true. And it was my desire to come up with a specific, all of my programs, because they use brainwave entrainment, are designed to allow you to help yourself. And that's basically what I'm all about, because with all my problems that I had, I am now able to help myself because of these systems and because of these recordings. So the interesting thing here is, let's say I had an issue with smoking. I used to. I don't smoke. I haven't smoked in like 17, 18 years now. But let's say I had a problem with smoking and with drinking. And obviously, I have something wrong with my public speaking ability too. So let's say I have three issues that I want to work on. So as I go through my list of triliminals in that system, I basically hold as my intention one intention at a time. So let's start with the smoking one. I start with the intention that I want to stop smoking, which is great. So I want to stop smoking. As I look through all the titles, some of them are going to jump out at me in a good way. It's going to feel like they're really resonating with the issue and they can really help me. Others will resonate with me in a super negative way. I'll get agitated almost. Believe it or not, both of those are the ones that you're going to want to use. So what I suggest you do is you go through with your intention, you pick the recordings that resonate with that intention, whether it's positive or negative. Let's say you get 5 recordings out of that. Now we move on to my drinking problem. So we go to my drinking problem, and we're going to use the same intention concept where I hold the intention that I'd like to stop drinking, and I go through the system, and maybe 3 or 4 are the same, like that resonate with me, are the same as what I had chosen for my smoking. But now there's another 5. So now I'm, say, at about 10 recordings. And then I go through with the rest of my intentions. And maybe I have 14 or 15 recordings, let's say. I mean, you could have all 70 in the end, really. So what happens is you listen 1, 2, or 3 times every day. That's lying down, eyes closed, comfortable volume, stereo headphones. Okay. You can be sitting with head support as well. But the idea is that every day that you listen, you look at your list, and the one that jumps out at you for that listening period is the one you're going to listen to. So if I can listen to 3 today, I'm going to listen to 3 today, and then I'm going to move on. Okay. Once I listen to those 3, it might take me 3 days to listen to them. Then I will look at the list, and again, I will pick the next one that resonates with me. And you keep going through the list until you have one left. You listen to that one, and then you rotate back again. This is a way to actually deal with all issues at the same time, which is an interesting concept because if you look at self-improvement products, most of them are designed to help you with one specific thing. Whether they help or not, we don't know. Some probably do for some people, others probably don't for other people, but that's not really the point. I think the point is that one of the reasons why these other systems may not work so well is quite simply because they have an inherent issue, a problem, a flaw in their design. They look at everything as being tunnel vision. In other words, if I have a success issue, or if I have a confidence issue, or if I have a sexual issue, or any kind of issue at all, it is isolated. It exists within itself in a vacuum, if you will. So that's why I believe they don't help. With this new technique using the effortless success, what happens is you deal with all your perceived issues at the same time. And the beauty of that is, I honestly believe that all of your issues are interconnected. They're all intertwined. And that's why most systems don't really work and don't really help, because they only deal with one aspect. Let's say you want to get physically fit and you go to a health club. So I'm flabby, I'm out of shape, I can barely walk, a block. I'm just a mess. So what I do is I pick up those little hand things, for exercising your fingers, and that's all I do. I just exercise my fingers. Well, maybe my hands get stronger, my fingers get stronger, but my shoulders are weak, my chest is weak, my gut is weak, my rear end is weak. All these things are weak. I'm only dealing with one aspect. Now, let's go a little bit further. Let's say, so now I'm exercising my arms and they're getting muscular and strong, but now my shoulders are hurting because they can't support the extra weight and the strain from all these tight nubile muscles. My chest maybe starts hurting because of that as well. My legs, of course, still can't carry me anywhere. So the point is that you're just not getting anywhere, because you're not dealing with it in a holistic manner. And I think that's the mechanism that's missing in a lot of self-improvement. That's what I've been trying to get to in all of my products, quite frankly. With Effortless Success, I've added the beautiful addition of you having the ability to actually have all the pieces and build your own system. The nice thing about this is, remember, you're not just building your own system like the Build-A-Bear stores where you go in, you build it, and you're happy, you walk out. In a week, in a month, in a year, these particular issues may have changed. As a matter of fact, they probably will. They'll mature, they'll grow, or they'll shrink to some degree, and your needs will change. So when you feel that happening, you simply go through and do the process again. You tweak, you have the ability to tweak your own system. People come out with, like we have Effortless Success version 2.0. Well, what's interesting is you can create your own version 2.0, 3.0, 20.0, 1 million.0. And that is the real benefit, and that is the real beauty behind this kind of a system. Now, I did notice that there was a question or comment, so I'm going to go check that out right now. I'll answer it. Please, I see that there's some people out there watching. I'm grateful to you all for being here. And the people who couldn't make it, I'm sure will be watching this live. I normally get these, or not live, but recorded. I normally get between 100 to 200 people watching these overall. So please do them a favor, do yourself a favor. If you're inspired, ask a question. Make a comment. If you have an experience you'd like to share, do that too. Because if you feel that way, it's an inspiration you need to act on. And that's part of what improving yourself is all about, quite frankly. You need to understand that if I have a question I want to ask you, I need to honor myself and ask you that question. So now that I have been asked at least one question, I am going to go and honor that question. So let's see, from Shannon. Hello, Morry. Do you have any triluminals on getting rid of fear, anxiety, and insecurity? If so, how much? Okay, so again, I think you are your own guru here. I do have triluminals on all of these topics, so you could go the triliminal route. I have some mini systems on anxiety, etc. Quantum mind power could be very good for this. When you speak of fear, anxiety, and insecurity, that all sounds like confidence and self-esteem issues. I have a program called Quantum Confidence as well. If you want, you can go to my website, themorrymethod.com. And another beautiful thing about YouTube is I get to actually type stuff in so you don't have to take notes. So just give me a second here. morrymethod.com. Okay, so you can go to themorrymethod.com. It's right down there. And if you go to the actual products page, you will be able to see what's available. Now, I also have another website that, those are the products that I have currently available. I do have, and I know I've mentioned this in a couple of these calls, I will be releasing a beta test request very soon for a visual system that requires about 5-6 times a day watching for 3 minutes. And I will be beta testing this shortly. If you're on my list at themorrymethod.com or songs list, then you will get notified when I am ready. I keep mentioning it because I want to generate interest for those of you who might qualify for these tests, because this is a pretty cool thing. One of the reasons why it's taking so long, and I'm sorry about this, is frankly because I have an issue with, I'm preparing for a major launch of a product that was recently written up in a New York Times best-selling book by Dr. Dale Bredesen called The End of Alzheimer's. So because of that, I'm launching a special product for cognitive issues, and I've been really tied up with that. So I do apologize, but I promise I will get to getting everything ready for the beta testing shortly. Okay, so again, what I would suggest then is you would go through the product listings, read, and I do apologize for the super long sales letters that are there for all the different products, but you should read through them and allow yourself to resonate or not resonate and see what resonates with you. And in the same way that I told you to go ahead and, create your own systems using the triliminals, then you could also use your instincts and your resonance to decide which program might be better for you, as long as you hold in your mind the intention of what you want to accomplish. So hopefully that helps. I've noticed we've been getting, as far as prices are concerned, they're all there. Okay, they're all available on the websites themselves. So let's see here. Yes, I want to welcome, by the way, all of you here. But I also want to point out a good guy, Jim Mallard. He has an interesting show on Tuesday nights. It's streamed live on YouTube as well as from his own podcast. It's called The Mallard Report, and his name is spelled here. I'll just type it out for you here. Jim. It's a good thing it's here because I always get the spelling wrong. Okay, so it's called the Mallard Report. Okay, and you can go and check that out. Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. Very interesting stuff. He has a wide range of topics. It goes from having me on it. I've been on the show 2 or 3 times. To I think yesterday he had a ex-CIA operative or special agent on that had a very interesting show as well. And it goes all over the place. So if you want to have some nice, interesting times listening to some non-commercial radio that's actually very interesting and informative, please go ahead and check him out as well. By the way, he hasn't paid for this. I just really like him and I enjoy listening to his show. So the fact that he's here made me do that. All right, so let's go. We have more questions, so I'm going to get to those. Okay. Hi, Morry. As far as I know, I've got all of your programs. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. My question is this: have you considered making subliminal triliminals? We can listen to example. Okay, Craig, great question. As if you did, you would also have brain prints. And brain prints are subliminalized triliminals. It's the first time anyone has been able to effectively create subliminalized entrainment. See, entrainment to occur in reality has to happen as a direct result of hearing. Well, not hearing, but being exposed from an outside source of a pulse tone. Ba, 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 ba. And then that creates an electric signal that gets transmitted through the auditory nerve into the brain, et cetera, et cetera. I have come up with a way to actually subliminalize that and to allow people via something called the entrainment initiator to be able to have a subtle entrainment effect when listening. I have managed to adapt my triliminals so that you don't need headphones, obviously, because they're subliminal. You don't use headphones, and it still has effects on the right, left, and center of the head. Again, it is not the same powerful effect you get from triliminals, but it is a very subtle effect that does not require lying down, listening at a comfortable volume, because you listen at a very low volume. It doesn't require headphones. It doesn't require having your eyes closed. The only thing I do suggest is that you don't listen to it while you're driving or doing anything potentially dangerous, but otherwise it's fine. So go to Brain Prints. It's actually truesubliminal.net, I believe. So www.truesubliminal.net. Now, just give me a second here because it might be truesubliminals.net. So just give me a second here. Subliminals.net. No, it's, I'm going to confirm that again. So just one second. Delete. And the website is loading. Yes, it is. Okay. So it's truesubliminal.net. I just threw the link in there for you. There you go. I love a question like that because I already had the answer. So there you go. So you can listen to it, and you can listen to all of my subliminals anytime you want throughout the whole night is no problem. Because they're subliminalized, they won't have an adverse effect on your sleep cycle, which is what I don't suggest when you listen to my regular entrainment recordings, because those can actually fight with your normal sleep cycle, and we do not want to do that. Sleep is an incredibly important part of your mental health, your ability to stay physically healthy, and pretty much any other aspect of your life. So very important that you keep that in mind. Okay, so Mahar, hey, how you doing? Hi, Morry. So far, loving the triliminals, confidence MP3s. It's been great. Thank you for sharing. That's nice. And if you have little testimonials you want to share, hey, I'm not going to stop you either. But don't just feel like you have to be nice and sweet. If you have any issues or questions, I want you to bring those up too. I actually had a client today who requested a refund. I gave it to her. And she explained that she was, as she's listening, she's getting agitated and angry and upset, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. It's unfortunate she didn't contact me earlier. A lot of people, when they start having a negative response or what they might perceive as a negative response, will just push through thinking that they're supposed to. I don't know, maybe someone told them to do that at some point. And then they hurt themselves and they end up not using it anymore. So I issued her a refund, but at the same time, I strongly suggested that she goes ahead and keeps looking for something else. And the reason why I am suggesting that is I cannot tell you how many of my clients have that reaction, because this technology is very good at bringing to the surface unresolved issues or emotions. And unresolved doesn't mean you don't know about it. It means when you think about it, you might get angry or upset or agitated. And it's unfortunate because lowering the volume, taking a few days off, going back to normal, lowering the volume to barely audible, starting over again is. And she got back to me and thanked me. Interestingly enough, the mood in the first email was quite mean. But I understood where it was coming from, and you can't take these things personally. And the truth is, water and air, they're the only two things that are good for everybody anyway. So that's why I'm grateful for my opportunity to help people, but I'm also grateful that there's other people out there doing the same kind of things so that they give people options for when mine is too strong or just doesn't work for somebody, which admittedly is a rare situation. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, Mahar would like to know which is the best one for stroke. Okay, you have to understand, Mahar, that I am not a medical doctor. I am not a doctor at all, as a matter of fact, and I don't play one on TV, nor do I play one on YouTube. So I think you should always, when you have a question regarding medicine, you should speak to a medical expert. In my opinion, as long as your medical expert tells you calming exercises, breathing techniques, meditation is good for you, then pretty much any of my recordings, listen to with that intention, can be very good. Keep in mind that brainwave entrainment does stimulate the brain. Stroke is an issue with the brain. So there are some views here that would suggest that it would have less of an effect because some of the brain is damaged. There's other people that would say it might have a beneficial effect because it stimulates the neurons and could help activate them. We now know that just because certain areas of the brain might be gone, it doesn't mean the brain can't rewire itself. It's called neuroplasticity. So it's possible that brainwave entrainment might play a role in that. I don't have any research or evidence to back that up. It's just a gut feeling. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not making prognosis or suggestions along those lines. I'm just answering your question as openly and honestly as I can. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, wonderful. Oh, isn't that nice? Jim put in one of my shows with him. So if you want to hear what I sound like on somebody else's show, you can feel free to check me there. I'm just going to click show so that shows up. Okay, so that's there. If you look in the chat, and scroll up a little bit, you'll be able to see the link to my show with Jim. Okay. You're very welcome, Jim. I love your work and your honesty and your authenticity. And that's one of the reasons why I brought him up here now as well. Most of the people who do shows, especially, informational shows, shows that are kind of lighthearted, sometimes very serious, other times, they're a little too into themselves and they think that they have to be, like, I don't know, CNN or Fox or whatever, professional news broadcasters. Jim is professional in every sense of the word, but he is a human being. And you won't feel like you're being talked down to or lectured. You'll feel like you're in somebody's basement having a drink or a juice or whatever, just having a nice conversation. Okay, that's it. No more back scratching here or tapping or whatever. Okay, Craig, maybe I'm not using the initiator enough. I'm actually familiar with the process, PhD work in hypnotherapy. Excellent, excellent. Well, Craig, the initiator needs to be used minimum twice a week, because that is actually an audible sound. It's an audible brainwave frequency pulse, ba, 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 that is exactly the same one that is embedded subliminally in the brain prints. The reason for that is kind of like muscle memory. When you're subliminally listening to the brain prints, your brain recognizes the frequencies. Because it recognizes the frequencies, it kind of goes into a subtle entrainment state based on its experience listening to the initiator. You may be right. Some people may need to listen more than twice a week. In my experience, in my testing before I released it, I found twice a week was sufficient. But maybe you want to listen more often. I also know people who listen to the entrainment initiator pretty much exclusively, and they play the brain prints when they go to bed, and that's it. Because they just like the feelings and they like the developments and what's happening to them when they listen to the initiator itself. Okay, let's see here. Okay, Craig, I loop the brain prints through speakers, one on each side of my bed. Guess I'll keep trying. Okay, that's actually not bad, Greg, but you don't actually have to do that. They're designed to be listened to over an individual speaker. Even though you have the messages are designed to be more activating on certain parts of the brain. So even though they're only coming from one side, it does